If you've ever played any sort of Minecraft survival, whether it be on peaceful mode or on hardcore, you're pretty aware that hunger is a thing. At some point, you're gonna need food, and you're gonna need a lot of it. So rather than building a giant farm that takes up a lot of space, today we're going to learn how to build a micro farm that will get you all the food that you're ever gonna need. The blueprint for this build is relatively small, coming in at 3 blocks wide by 6 blocks deep. As for the item list, you're going to need 1 chest, 1 hopper, 1 minecart with hopper, 1 rail, 3 pieces of dirt, 1 netherite hoe, of course it's got to be netherite, 1 stair, 1 water bucket, 3 dispensers, 1 observer, 1 sticky piston, 7 pieces of redstone, 1 repeater, 3 pieces of glass, some solid blocks for redstone lines, and some miscellaneous blocks for platforms and decoration, and obviously you're going to need some crops. The first thing that we're going to do for this build is take our chest and place it right here in the very middle at the front of the platform, and then behind that we're going to place a hopper facing directly into the chest. On top of that hopper, we're going to go ahead and place 1 rail with a minecart with a hopper directly on top of that. And then just so that stays secure, we're going to go ahead and place a block there and break those 2 temporary blocks, and we should be good to go with the minecart hopper. This is going to serve as our collection system. The reason we're using a minecart hopper is because these things pull items very quickly, so we shouldn't have any backup on the system. Next, we're going to place a piece of dirt here, here, and here. These 2 pieces don't technically have to be dirt, but I kind of like the aesthetic of it when there are 3 dirt blocks in a row. It's just a preference, but you can put whatever blocks you want on the outside as long as this middle one right here is a dirt block. That's where our crops are going to grow. And then go ahead and grab a stair and place it sideways out of this block. It doesn't have to be quartz, it can be anything you want, but I've chosen quartz to have uniformity with the concrete there. Then we'll take a temporary block here, and then break this one, and then we'll put a sticky piston facing this direction out of that temporary block and go ahead and break that one. Then we also need another block right here on this side of the stair, and then we can go ahead and grab a water bucket and waterlog this stair, and this sticky piston and this block right here will keep that water from overflowing into the rest of the build, but it will also still water our farmland, which we are about to grab right now. So take your netherite hoe and right click, or whatever button is comparable to that on Xbox, PlayStation, Switch, phone, whatever you choose. Just make sure it is farmland and we are good to go. Now that we've got our farmland in place, next we are going to grab 3 dispensers and place 1 here, here, place a couple of temporary blocks just like this, and then have a dispenser facing downward into the farmland so that all 3 of these dispensers are facing directly at where our crops are going to grow. Then we can go ahead and break these temporary blocks. You should have an empty space now behind these dispensers. We're going to take an observer block and go around back and place it right on top of this sticky piston so that the red dot is facing backwards and the little smiley face is facing forwards. When we've got this fully wired up, this observer block will detect when a crop is placed down onto this farmland. When it detects it, it will send a redstone signal to these 3 dispensers, which will fire bone meal directly into the crops, causing them to be fully grown. By the time they are fully grown, this sticky piston will fire this farmland forward, breaking the crops and allowing them to go down into our storage system. To wire this up, we're going to take any solid block of your choice. I have chosen blue concrete. We're going to place them here, 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 and here so that the entire observer block is fully covered except for the face. Then we're going to take redstone dust and run it here, 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 and here on top of those 4 concrete blocks that we just placed down. And then we're going to stair step some glass, just like this, and then we'll double back with it just like that. You may have seen this particular mechanic in one of my redstone tutorials before. It is a pretty popular one to do. I used it in my bartering farm video, which you should check out after this one is over. But it is very important that these are glass blocks. If they are solid, the redstone signal will not be allowed to pass through and it will break the whole system. Then we're going to take a solid block here, here, and here, and then we will connect up our redstone line that we've already got existing right here onto these glass blocks, followed by a repeater set to 3 ticks. It has to be on 3 or 4 ticks, but I recommend 3 because it is slightly faster. If you leave it on 1 or 2 ticks, it is going to break the system slightly because the piston will fire off quicker than it's ready to grow, so just make sure it is on 3 or 4. And with that, the redstone for our micro farm is completely finished. All we need is a small platform so that we can stand there and start spamming our crops. One thing to make note of while we are doing our decorations is that this block right here has to remain completely clear. You cannot use slabs, stairs, fences, anything that would have an appearance of being transparent on any side of it to try to keep the crops from flying out. It will break your farmland. If there is anything within this hitbox right here, when it presses the piston forward, it will break your farmland and you'll have to till the ground again, and that's just something we want to avoid. So just make sure not to place anything in this general space and you're good to go. You're also going to want to make sure you've got a solid source of bone meal, as this thing flies through the stuff pretty quick to grow your crops. So just make sure you have a decent skeleton farm, a fish farm, or you're just running around with a sword chopping down skeletons right and left. Either way, you're going to need a ton of bone meal if you want a ton of food. And then when you're ready to go, all you got to do is hold down on the plant button, whether it's your right click or whatever button on your console or device, and watch it work its magic. The nice thing about being on a PC or on a controller is if you do have an auto clicker application, or if you have a rubber band on your Xbox controller, you can just hold this button down and walk away for, 10 minutes and come back to see how many crops you've got. This particular farm does work with beet root, carrots, potatoes, and wheat. And that's it, folks. That's the completed build. All of the redstone circuitry, all of the farming is right there at your fingertips, ready to go for you. Let me know in the comment section what you guys thought about this tutorial, and if you do plan on building it in your own Minecraft worlds, be sure to drop me a picture over on Discord. I would love to see how you incorporate it into your houses or into your bases, or if you just leave it right out in the wide open. It would be great to hear from you. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the channel and check out some of my other blueprints. And like I said, leave a like, leave a comment, and we'll see you in the next tutorial. Thank you so much for watching, and have a fantastic day.